Elon is an absolute genius at engineering and system design, as well as business, obviously. And so he says that the most common mistake of a smart engineer is to optimize a thing that shouldn't exist. And I think that this is those lesser goals, is optimizing things that shouldn't be in the system, optimizing things in your life that shouldn't be there at all. A lot of businesses are literally focusing on the wrong thing, and they're spending a lot of time optimizing the wrong goal or the wrong KPI. And so being able to know what is the right goal, what do we need to strip out that shouldn't exist so that then we can advance on the right path. That's what we're looking for. But I think that this quote is a heavy hitter, because I think that the majority of what most people are doing is optimizing things that if they had a better goal and were committed to a cleaner path, they would stop optimizing most of the things that they're now doing.
My very first, you probably don't know this, but my very first financial breakthrough in my life was in 1999. It was April 1999. And in 1998, I made $48,000 for the whole year, right? A whole year went by, right? I made $48,000. And in April of 1999, I accidentally made, and I say accidentally because I didn't have it as a goal. That's what I mean. So I accidentally made $6,200 in 1 week. So in 1 week, I made 1.5 times as much as I used to make in a month. And 1998 up to that time was my best year, right? And so the first thing I said was, wow. And then I said, I can't believe how easy that was. And then I concluded that that must mean that it's easier to make a lot of money in a short period of time than it is to make a little money over a long period of time, which changed my whole life, because I made a decision in that moment to not look at and not look for the hard ways to make a little bit of money anymore. I ignore all the hard ways to make a little bit of money and only focus on the easier ways to make a lot. That was a decision I made in 1999.
So it changed how you filter. That changed your goals, and it changed how you filter options and choices.
1,000%. Which is why the first time I ever heard you, a couple years ago in Mexico, when you were talking about 10x is easier than 2x, everything you said resonated with me. I was like, oh, this guy gets it. And so I don't know if you remember, but we had an initial conversation, came up and asked you a question, and from that time on, it was just like, it was like click. It was like this electric conversation from that point on, right? And so this whole idea that why are people optimizing things that shouldn't exist? Why are people running down a clear path to a lesser goal? Why are, okay, everybody here heard that. Sad but true. Many people here, I won't say most because I don't know, but many people here will leave here and continue to do the exact same thing for the rest of the day, and the rest of the week, and the rest of the month, and the rest of the year. Why?
All right. Care if I just go in teacher mode for a minute?
Please do. Please do.
So I've shared this before. I mean, many of you have probably seen this. But your question on being versus doing, I think, had a lot to do with this. So this is the common approach, and I think we shift into this linear approach. This is the natural default, is to let the past determine the present, and then let the present determine our approach to the future. This has huge consequences, but it leads us to defaulting into what we're now doing versus really intensely thinking about the future and who we want to be. And so when you said doing, I was thinking, this is what you're doing. When you think being, you're bringing the future forward. So this is the model that I want you all to catch yourself on all the time, which is that, and there's a lot of important points with this view of time.